cutting edge of anomaly research. You are about to experience The Evidence with your host, 3D pioneer and image analyst with Mars X3D, D.W. Gannett.
Well, hi there, and welcome to another episode of The Evidence. This is number 72, and this is your old buddy Dave over Mars X3D. You know, I'm so glad to have you join me on this stereographic channel. If you don't know how to do X3D, there's a link below. And for those of you who are so-called cross-eyed explorers, like my friend Dan and his grandkids out there, why, by all means, we love having you here. And you know, we got some things coming up. We're going to be looking today at Sol 1033, which has some very interesting things in it, not the least of which is a remarkable find by my friend Jimmy, the old creek jumper, Roberts. And we're going to be talking about that and showing you some of the things that he may be up to. And also, by the way, in the Did You Know department, if you just click on the playlists on this channel, you'll find the Dirty Dozen, the fabulous Flipbook of Anomalies, the Best Of series, and more. Just a whole bunch of videos from the earlier days that have some anomalies that are worth seeing if you're an anomaly junkie. Also, what would you guys say about doing a live hang? Would you be interested in doing that? Let me know down below in the comments. Now, I know if my friend Chris Maroney does a live hang with 57,000 subscribers, if 1% show up, he's busy. Now, me, if I have 1% show up, I think I'm pretty much talking to myself. But nonetheless, let me know if that's something you'd like to do. Enough talking. Let's get to it. We're going to start off this week with a little bit of eye candy. This is a 3D rendering of ancient Mars. We know that Mars was a water planet, just like Earth, back in the day. And we see more than ample evidence everywhere, from the various Mars Science Laboratory missions on the surface and the orbiters. It's very clear that it was a water planet, and this is one artist's conception of what it might have looked like back in the day based upon the best available data. Pretty neat, isn't it? I was digging around in 1033 after working on Jimmy Roberts' Snake Temple find and came across this unusual feature down there in the left-hand corner. You can see from here that there's something unusual about it. So here we have what seems to be a perfect three-sided stone box. I wish we could see the other side, but that side furthest from us sure looks clean to me. And what about those white marks on the side closest to us? Are those natural veins in the rock or something else? In any case, we can see that whatever this is has suffered considerable erosion over the millennia, while still retaining its box-like shape. And it's probably just a silly coincidence, but I noticed how one corner of the box is knocked off, just like the sarcophagus in the king's chamber of the Great Pyramid in Egypt. Go figure. Another thing that popped up in 1033 was this strange pair just left of center. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. Think about what you're seeing here and what it might possibly be. I mean, sure, it could be some really unusual erosion. And if that's what it turns out to be, no problem. But here's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. It looks like the bottom half of a diesel or other type of engine to me, with the top half maybe being that piece over to the left. Let's move in a little closer to point out an interesting detail. Here I've lightened up the contrast a good bit, and now I'm going to flash something you need to take a closer look at if you're not already seeing it. Now, I'm no ace mechanic, but that sure bears a resemblance to an alternator or generator to my eyes. take a look, just for comparison's sake. Whatever this is, it sure seems to have cooling holes arranged in a radial fashion. Another one of those weird coincidences we find on Mars. One of our Middle Eastern colleagues, Chokri, Yaich, has recently landed with both feet in the anomalous community. He's been finding some interesting things lately, and as you can see, old Murphy's Law is in effect once again, putting the anomaly right at the edge of the shot. This really does look like the curled fingers of a large hand, perhaps one broken off a statue at some distant point in the past. Let's take a closer look. The shape and position of the fingers, the knuckles, and even the presence of what seem to be fingernails really present a pretty compelling case for it being a manufactured item. For this next one, I adjusted the contrast a good bit to bring out more details. That one fingernail in the center is really well defined, and it's certainly consistent with the morphology of humanoid fingers. While it's always possible that some of the more mysterious finds we make on Mars are a result of simple geology with wind and sand thrown into the mix, it's little details like the fingernails you're looking at right now that pull the rug out from under the natural explanations. Jimmy Roberts has done a beautiful workup on this one, and I've included the link below so you can see for yourself what he's doing with 3D CAD/CAM imagery and the model he and a colleague have created from it. He's also done a thorough study of the metrics involved, and here's the bottom line. This mound is about 12.5 feet high, and the so-called snake temple, those are my words, not his. The snake temple itself is a whopping 18 inches or so. You can see it up there in the yellow target. Now, I gotta admit, this thing is kind of creepy and certainly lends credence to a reptilian presence on Mars, or possibly a snake-worshipping cult similar to the Aztecs or Maya. You can go ahead and poo-poo that if you like, and I wouldn't blame you if you did. But statements like that, as crazy as they may sound, are logical conclusions based upon the body of evidence found in the contemporary literature. Let's move into the pixel breakpoint for a closer look. First of all, there's that stylized reptilian head, complete with an eye and a nostril. And if you take your magnifier to the eye, you can see that it has a vertically slit pupil, exactly like Terran reptiles. I'll save you the trouble. Here's a hypermag of the eye. I've adjusted the contrast to make it easier to see, but nothing else has been done to it. It's there, all right. And look at that perfect sphere catching the sunlight partway down on the right. Could someone clue me in to how erosion caused that? And look at the piece the sphere is on, kind of like the arm of a sphinx. See all the little balls running up the side? That arm on the left side looks pretty purposeful to me too. Is there an entrance or cavern in the shadow? I wasn't able to get a good look in there. It's just too dark. So here's another puzzler. If this is only 1.5 feet high, and I believe Jimmy, he's become a black belt at metrics, what then does that make it? If it's actually a temple, are we back to miniature Martians sacrificing tiny virgins to their snake god? Or is it a carved shrine, something that would, say, go on a table, complete with incense and flowers? And if it's just natural erosion, well, we still have the nostril, the eye, and that sphere to explain through natural processes and the laws of chance. You need to check out Jimmy's interview on Mind Dog Radio, where you'll get a chance to see the model that's been made from this anomaly. There's a link below. Well, there you have it. If you saw something you liked today, please consider giving me a thumbs up. It's the only pay I get. And check out the links below. A lot of good stuff. Also, let me know in the comments if you'd like to do a live hang. Meanwhile, this is your buddy Dave over at Mars X3D. Be well.